I've never seen chives make it to the top survival crop list, but today I'm going to show you why I think chives should be in every garden, including a survival garden. Hey Provident Preppers, I'm Kylene, and today I have you out in my garden and we're going to talk about chives. And I'm serious about chives being a fantastic survival garden crop because they are so easy to grow. They're a perennial, which means they grow back year after year. They taste amazing and they're very nutritionally dense. So today I'm going to show you 8 reasons why I think they should be in your garden. The first reason why I think chives are a really good candidate for a survival garden is because chives are incredibly hardy and they will grow in almost any climate. They are a perennial plant in zones 2 through 9, and which means that they'll just grow back. You plant them once and they just provide you with these amazing chives year after year. The second reason why I think they need to be in every survival garden is because they are so easy to grow. You really don't have to have a green thumb. They can be grown in a kitchen window, they can be grown out in a pot on your patio, or they can be grown in a garden like this where I've got it planted. This is a new one from last year that I have planted in between these tomatoes to help with pollination. The third reason that you should grow chives is because they always provide an abundant, dependable harvest. They are one of the first plants to come up in the spring and be harvestable. Now right now it's May, right? And so we have all of these beautiful blossoms. The blossoms, totally edible and delicious. In fact, I'll leave a link to a video that I created with my poppy seed chive blossom salad dressing. Oh, it is so good. And that's one of the reasons why this time of year is my favorite time of year. But the stem, after you harvest the blossom, is a bit tough. And so usually I don't eat it. If I was in a crisis situation, I would probably dry it and blend it and use it as a powdered seasoning. But most of the time I don't do that. Now, when I go to harvest the chives to eat, I harvest the ones that don't have the blossom on them, and then I can use these for cooking. And if you go to the market to buy these, they're very expensive. The more that you cut these, the more that you harvest them, the more that they will grow. The fourth reason why I'm committed to always having chives grow in my garden is because, okay, well, they're delicious, but they're also so nutritious and they make other foods taste so much better. Most of the time when we store our dry goods, we are missing vitamin A and vitamin C, and we've got to get those nutrients from somewhere else. Well, chives are abundant in both vitamin A, vitamin C. They have calcium, potassium, and iron, which makes them just wonderful. If you grow nothing else, grow chives in your window, in your garden, in a pot. Just grow chives. Now, the fifth reason why I think everyone should grow chives in the garden is as a culinary herb. So in your cooking, wow, chives make such a difference. And I grow all kinds of culinary herbs. That's oregano, but I have to admit that chives are probably one of my very favorite. I'll come out to get chives almost every day for my garden, whether I'm putting them in soups or salads. Last night we made some salmon and I came out and got some for a garnish for on top of the salmon. I mean, there's so many different things that you can use chives for. When you're using regular onions, there's a time when you can harvest them and you can store them, but there's just a time period where you don't have them. And chives bridge that gap so that you can always have that delicious onion flavor in a lot of your cooking. The sixth reason why I'm such a fan of chives is because of their powerful medicinal qualities. So I can take this powerful medicine and just eat it in my daily life and stay healthy and strong, which is incredibly valuable in a survival situation as well as every day. Chives have anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, and antifungal properties, as well as being highly nutritious, but they also help with digestion and actually are a mild diuretic. So putting them in your daily diet, there's just no downside. The seventh reason why I'm a fan of chives is because they make a fantastic companion plant. They grow great with these strawberries, but they're a natural insect repellent in addition to attracting beneficial insects that help to pollinate. So you'll see, I love the bumblebees when they come, but all different pollinators, they attract them to your garden, which in turn increases your yield. So just by having chives in your survival garden, you will produce more abundantly. Reason number 8 why I think everyone should be growing chives is because they store really, really well. They are really easy to process and make it so that you can enjoy them throughout the year. So what I do is I have this really cool pair of scissors, and I can just really quickly make work of chives, and I can chop them all into these uniform pieces. And then you can air dry chives. I could put them in a solar dryer that we have. In fact, if you click the card in the corner, I'll link you to that video that we created on our solar dryer. You could put them in a regular dehydrator or even on a low temperature in your oven and dry them until they are nice and dry, and then you can store them. You could store them for at least a year if they're dry. But one of the other things is I have a freeze dryer. And so when I freeze dry chives, they actually maintain better fresh flavor, but the dried ones are still amazing. And you can just sprinkle those on the foods that you eat. You don't even have to rehydrate them. Chives are just awesome. And you can take, if you don't want to go through all the work and cut them into little pieces, you can dry them in their stalks. And once they're dry, you can just crumple them up, put them in a food processor and blend them up a little bit so that they're just kind of a nice, fine little spice that you can put on things. Now I've given you 8 compelling reasons why you might want to consider growing some chives in your yard, because they are definitely on my survival garden top list. Now, if you want to get started, you can go and you can purchase some seeds. These seeds are from Survival Garden Seeds. They have 2 different kinds. They have the garlic chives, which has a more garlicky flavor, and then they have these, which are more of an onion flavor. So you could get some seeds. You can start them from seeds. They're really easy to do that way. You could go to your local nursery and just buy a little plant to start. Sometimes that's the easiest way to do it. Or you could come to a friend gardener like me and say, hey, Kylene, I need some chives. And it would be so easy for me to just give you a start and get you started right away. And that way it's free. And that's part of being a community, right? It's so awesome to be a community. And gardeners especially like to share what they're growing. So now for the question of the day. What is your experience growing chives? And do you love them as much as I do? Comment below. And thanks for being part of the solution.